advanced schools to out-of-home care, schools, hospitals, all organisations need to adopt that whole of organisation approach to gender equality. And I could tell you more about that if you wanted to, or point you.
Please.
So I don't know, and it is the work of our watch. So Cara Gleeson, I often refer to her paper, and I can't remember what it's called, but where it sets up
relationship education evidence paper.
Exactly, yeah. So in that paper, there's a diagram of what a whole of school approach looks like, and there's a number of components, including leadership and culture and I forget what they all are, but if you look at that diagram, then that model needs to be taken into every organisation with in terms of with a gender equality lens. That would be my recommendation. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Take it. I should try to find that. I'll have it at the tip of my. Oh.
No worries.
Did I turn it off?
Nope, still going strong.
I know you. I know how hard it is to. This is a training manual that they're ready for our McKillop project. So these are the different kinds of things that need to happen.
This is Cara's?
Yes. Yeah. So that's from her paper. And so that's what we're taking and putting in our residential houses, and throughout our whole organisation, McKillop Family Services. Yeah.
How do you think institutions can promote healthy conceptions of masculinity within their organisations?
Well, I think I'd probably answer it in the same way. I think that they need to work with these different components, and I think we need leaders who are committed to respectful relationships and gender equality. So we need leaders who are role modelling respectful relationships at all times. I don't know about you, but some of the interactions you see in workplaces are extraordinarily disrespectful, and certainly don't model respectful relationships. So, and we need to do some professional development with workers in organisations around gender equality. And I think we spoke this morning about this kind of post-feminist age that we supposedly live in, where apparently gender equality has already been achieved, but it hasn't, and we have a lot of work to do. So there's some ideas. Yeah. Did I answer that question enough?
Yeah. Thinking if I have any more questions for you. Maybe just because I know that you've read Palmer's research and contributed to it. How do you see, how does that, what you've written in how he talks about the role of organizational culture, and he talks a lot about the role of masculinity and kind of does a gender analysis. How do you see that reflecting in your own work? Do you
Look, I think, you know, how I see it reflected is that, you know, I've got you know, a particular sort of lens, I suppose, or conceptual map around hypermasculinity, and a particular sort of eye for, you know, homophobia, which, you know, is a indicator of macho cultures. I think, you know, the culture of an organisation is absolutely what enables or disables child sexual abuse. So a culture, an organisational culture that models respectful relationships, that complies with child safe standards, that values women and girls' voices, and that is not hierarchical or, you know, does not adopt a total institution approach in any way, is a much safer environment for a child. I think, you know, I think that patriarchal cultures have absolutely contributed to the enabling of child sexual abuse in organisations, and I hope that came out clearly enough in the Royal Commission's recommendations. And I'm not sure how much that did come out, apart from through this report, but it would be worth looking at.
I think that I've read the final report. I haven't read the volumes. So far as I can see, this is the only gendered analysis around the Royal Commission, and it does not specifically talk about masculinity or gender, besides talking about statistics. It does not talk about structural norms in the Royal Commission.
That's
to
right.
my understanding.
Yeah. So I think that may be a limitation then, that this was the only piece of research that kind of addressed gender, because I see it, you know, as a very significant correlate to child sexual abuse, you know, gender-based violence. So, and partly I say that because, you know, because my work has been around children, young people who sexually abuse, the biggest correlate for that kind of behaviour is living with domestic violence. So living in the family of origin with domestic violence. So you get a situation where a child living with domestic and family violence is becoming, I don't like to use the word perpetrator with children and young people, but is basically perpetrating sexual abuse. So there's a strong link. And I'm not sure how clearly that came out in the Royal Commission. What else was I going to say? And also I thought that I would be careful with this report. One of my criticisms of it was around the way it constructed perpetration of child sexual abuse. So I would refer you, I think this report's very good around the organisational culture stuff, but I don't think it gets right what it, you know, how and why and what a perpetrator of sexual abuse looks like. So I'd refer you to the Royal Commission's work on perpetration, which is better. I think there was a problem in here